to sum up, you guys have got the wagon convoys is traveling slow to finish the last little bit of its journey towards Blackor, while you guys ride ahead to just check out what's going on. So it does take you about a day to make this final leg of the journey. Um, you arrive. Well, I think it's fair to assume maybe like you rode for a while, stopped off, camped for the night, and then finished the last little bit of the journey in the morning. So maybe you come rolling into Blackor at around high noon, because that's always a good time to be anywhere.
Agree. It's high noon.
And obviously, you guys have been to Blackor before. The town is more or less as you remember it. It's a lot smaller than Prosperity Junction. It's more or less like a kind of a one street town with no more than about 20 buildings, kind of like clustered together, mostly based sort of between the rail tracks and where the mines used to be. You guys remember that when you were here before, you had some interesting adventures going down into those mines. That mine shaft is now very sealed up and covered with boulders and rocks and signs with skulls and crossbones on. So clearly efforts have been made in your absence to make sure nobody goes near that mine shaft. As you sort of approach the edge of town, you see that there are a number of people waiting for you, also on horseback. What looks like sort of a well-dressed halfling and oh, sorry, no, that's just the Twitch bot going off. So yeah, there's several guys. They look like quite tough guys with rifles and pistols and stuff, and they include mostly a few thuggish-looking humans and orcs, but then this well-dressed halfling in the middle and a rather sort of pale, drawn, elvish woman who appears to have a what am I trying to say? Like a gold star badge on her jacket, which Garrick will recognise marks her out as one of the rangers. So as you guys come riding up to the town line, you slow your horses to kind of like meet this sort of group of people who are clearly expecting you. And the well-dressed halfling calls out to you and goes, "Whoa, they're strangers. What are you doing here?"
Twig rolls her eyes and just kind of says, "Well, we saved this town before, so we're visiting."
Oh! I'm terribly sorry. I didn't recognize you. Of course. We didn't know you folks were coming this way. What brings you out here?
Well, have you seen the big smoking wreck of the train on the horizon?
Train? No, we ain't having any trains for days, friend. We've been getting a little worried that nobody seemed to be arriving.
Twig just sort of like explains briefly about the train heist and us heading back up this way, like on Red Hammer's expedition.
Yeah, and we became a little bit worried about this revelation. Came to check up.
You sort of notice there's like a sort of a number of shared glances between the several people on their horses, and then the halfling says, "Oh, obviously that's bad news, but we can probably get a work crew out there to at least get that old train off the tracks and hopefully try and get things moving again. We can't send them out today though. We haven't really been able to. Christ, sorry, what am I trying to say? we haven't really been able to send people out much. People have been reluctant to leave town. You've come at a bit of an odd time.
Why's that?
Well, sort of again, there's a few odd glances between them. And goes, well, nothing as much of a muchness, but I don't know. There's been some odd goings on lately, and quite frankly, the townspeople are a little bit spooked. No one's really wanted to leave their homes much, especially after dark. Myself, I think it's just people being a bit paranoid. Well, you guys more than anyone know that we've had some problems with all those strange ruins and stuff that's buried underneath the town. We thought we'd put an end to it when we sealed up the mine shafts and started mining further away, but some people still have some ideas that maybe building here was a bad idea, and you know, people get strange ideas in their heads. There's been a lot of ghost stories, there's been a lot of people blaming their neighbors for things and accusing people of things, so frankly it's just been difficult to really get people to kind of do their patrol duty, to look after the train tracks, to look after the mines. I don't know what to tell you folks, it's a little embarrassing really.
Do I recognize her? If she's a fellow ranger? Do I recognize her? If she's a fellow ranger, or because there's something smells fishy here?
Yep.
Yeah, Do you mind if we take a look around? I'll ask her.
To have, you know, a few more strong arms around this place. I warn you, it's fairly dull. Not much in the way of things to do around here until we get some new mines open. But if you need any help, you're welcome to always come find me. I don't have a base of operations, so I mostly camp out in the saloon.
You said there were some strange goings on, like ghost stories. Is there anything concrete, or has anything actually happened, or is it all just sort of people talking?
She rolls her eyes and sort of says, well, we've had a few issues with cattle going missing. I'll admit it's a queer business. Like, several of the cattle farmers here, they've had cows go missing, and then when we go look for them, all we found is that they've been eaten by God knows what. Something that eats, like, all the flesh off a cow. All we ever find is their bones. So that's got people pretty riled up, but I'm not quite sure what to make of it. Ever since the mines, that whole incident with the mines, a lot of the local wildlife seemed to have been driven off. They didn't seem to like being around here, so I'm not quite sure what could be hunting down the cows. Maybe something larger, like a hyena. I couldn't really say.
Well, it would be a bit crappy if our only train station between Prosperity Junction and where we're going isn't even working properly. So, if you send someone back to our convoy that's coming, tell them to just move on and meet us in Blackwell. Maybe we can have a look into this problem for you with the cattle getting eaten. If you've got some more. Sorry.
I would say that the halfling says, "Well, sure, we can. We'll suddenly get a crew out to go help deal with that. But I doubt we get them out today. Like I said, people don't like being out at night lately, with all these weird ideas going around. But we could send someone out first thing in the morning."
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
I said to her, but where didn't catch your name?
Oh, the halfling. Oh, he's. Oh, sorry. My name's Bing Crawford. I'm the mayor of this town now, since the old mayor had to retire. You fellas are perfectly welcome in the town. Anything I can do for you, you just ask.
Shall we? I mean, the only thing I can think is that perhaps something maybe got out of the mines before it was shut. I mean, there were some weird things in there. Let's go investigate the mines just to make sure it's all safe and plugged up.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Let's go for it. The mines are the mines open? Like, just there's a bunch of signs outside them or something.
Oh no, they're like fully caved in,
Right.
like as in there's big boulders, kind of like filling up the entrance where the mine shaft used to be. But you know, you're welcome to go investigate.
yeah, let's check it out. If
Yeah,
there's some
let's-
people been like clearing the place to make a little bit profit for themselves or something.
Okay, well, yeah, we should probably investigate if there's some beast going around eating cows at least.
Poor cows. Twig just looks really upset. Like, poor cows didn't even do anything wrong.
Okay, well the sort of welcoming committee, they let you pass, and yeah, pretty much like the mayor says, you know, come find me if I can do anything, and I'll make sure that crew gets sent out to deal with the train in the morning. Nice to have you here. And he just kind of shrugs, and they turn and ride off.
Do we trust those guys? I guess they're out of earshot.
Yeah, they head off on their horses back into town. So now you're just kind of like hanging out on the edge of town.
I think they seem fine.
Okay.
I kind of have a feeling that something fishy is going on here.
Yeah, me too.
Is it too late to do like a perception test or anything?
On
The people, the person
you
we spoke
can
to.
do one slightly retroactively if you like. Yeah, sure.
I mean, I have perception 1.
I could give it a shot. I've got perception 3. This particularly feels like they want to have a go.
You give it a go, and if you don't crack it, I'll have a go.
Okay, no, that's good enough. What Twig maybe picks up on is that the whole group seemed very twitchy, and despite the fact that they were quite dismissive of the kind of the weird goings on they were talking about, you got a feeling, especially from the mayor halfling guy, that maybe he was more worried about things than he was making on. Like he was more putting a brave face on it than anything. That's your interpretation of his behavior anyway.
Okay.
Should we follow them a little bit? Did they walked away, right?
They were sort of, like slowly riding their horses
I had an
back
idea.
into town. What's your idea, Twig?
Right, so I like shake my my hood, the hood of my shadow cloak, and I say, I could probably trail them fairly closely and see if they're like saying anything else out of earshot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, do that.
I'll try and be extra sneaky.
I was thinking the same, but you can probably do it better. I got +7.
Well, if we both like do it, but we go in opposite sort of like sides, so I'll go one side and you go the other, and that way, if they turn one way and see one of us, they won't see both of us. If that makes sense.
I can probably shadow them to the saloon if they're going there, but I'm no good in like plain sight like this because I'm adult-sized man after all.
Yeah, we Fae are quite sneaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you follow Tolly. We'll meet you at the entrance to the mine.
Okay,
See if you
someone
find anything else.
take Dexus with you.
I'll pick Dexus up and I'll give him a pat.
Right, so I pull up the hood of my shadow cloak and try to tail as closely as I can.
Okay, do you want to make a dexterity stealth check?
Two plus the shadow cloak is an extra 2, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that that's probably not quite gonna cut it, I'm afraid. So maybe Twig sort of starts, like, pulls up the hood of her shadow cloak and starts kind of, like, flying along, like, trying to be super sneaky, but, maybe she gets a little bit too close, and, the mayor halfling guy, he just kind of, like, instinctively swats when he hears this sort of, like, the flapping of wings near his ear, and Twig just gets sent flying backwards.
Do I take any damage from that?
No, you just kind of like get like swatted out the way. And the sheriff, not the sheriff, the ranger elf woman, she maybe she catches sight of you after that and maybe gives you a bit of a glare, but she doesn't say anything to the mayor, who's fairly oblivious as he's riding along.
Right. Can I start shadowing them? Like when they go to town, I'll ride a few bit behind them and hide behind corners and try to eavesdrop them. Go.
Wow, okay, yeah, that's a pretty good roll. Yeah, okay, so maybe you follow them at a distance as they make their way into town, and then, as you say, sort of keep track of them from a little ways back, and always trying to stay out of sight, dodging around corners when you need to, that sort of thing. The group sort of seems to make their way into the center of town where the saloon is, and at that point they split up. Like the kind of 5 fuggish guys who were with them, the mayor kind of like dismisses fairly quickly, and they just seem to like get off their horses and go to tie them up or do whatever they're doing. So they kind of disperse fairly quickly. The mayor and the sheriff kind of like carry on talking outside the saloon for a few minutes, and that gives Garrick a chance to kind of like maybe sneak up around the side of the building and listen in a little. And what he hears is
I think we have a clue.
Okay, I'll go back to the group and I'll relay the information I got.
We were gonna meet them at the mine, right? Yeah, that was the plan.
Did were we told by Garrick about
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Garrick said he came back and told you what he'd found. Or what he'd heard.
So who's this? Who's this Silas guy? Need to find him, I guess, if he knows what's going on.
we don't even know anything about him? Like, where do we look?
Let's go to
I
the
mean, the
pub.
saloon's probably the best
Yeah,
shot.
Yeah.
someone will probably know where he is. Were those two people going to the saloon, or was one of them going to
Uh,
the saloon?
Althea, the ranger, she went into the saloon.
Do we know that from?
Yeah,
like...
Garrick saw that
Okay.
when he was being super sneaky.
Let's. Are there multiple saloons, or is it a pretty kind of one horse town?
It's one horse town, really.
Okay.
Well, I mean, now you guys are here. There's several horses, but you know what I mean. It's not that big.
Yep. Shall we head to the saloon then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably the best idea.
And after that, we could go check the surrounding wilderness for if we can find tracks for the thing that's killing the house.
Yeah. Let's try and find this Silas guy.
Okay.
Garrick is a pretty good hunter, I think, and tracker.
Yeah, if it's some kind of beast, I'm sure we can figure out what's going on.
Okay, so you guys head into the saloon. It's a fairly small, dingy place compared to maybe the more finer establishments you're used to in Prosperity Junction. But you know, there's a few kind of local people in there who look at you a little bit suspiciously as they're drinking their beers and their whiskies. There's a little gnome in the corner, like just playing the piano, and a few people playing cards. A few people passed out on the bar, and kind of on a higher level that overlooks the main saloon area, you can see that Althea, the elf ranger, has like kind of like a little desk and area kind of set up on that top floor, and she's kind of like just sitting at a desk with a drink and a bunch of paperwork and her gun kind of like just laid out neatly on one side of the table. And from where she's sitting, she can look down, and when you guys come in, she kind of immediately makes eye contact with you guys, but then she sort of shrugs and goes back to whatever she's doing with her paperwork.
I'd like to poke the first person I walk past and ask them, "Are you Silas?"
Okay, you grab this orc in a cowboy hat, and are you Silas? And the orc just kind of like shrugs you off and pushes you back a little bit and goes, "Hell no! Do I look like a preacher? Get out of my face!"
Preacher.
I turn to Twig, who is my translator for all things non-Saurian, and I ask Twig what a preacher is.
Like a priest. If there's a some sort of church or chapel somewhere, that's probably our best bet.
like Saurian shaman.
A little bit like a shaman, yeah. A shaman.
Krosek's quite excited now. He's...
Unless he's the kind of preacher who drinks himself to sleep every night.
Oh, is it going to be one of these fucking golden horseshoe people? Whatever they're called. Oh god. Let's go find...
Are you referring to the noble institution that is the Church of the Lone Rider? That is the main religion on this world.
Yeah. Krosek is like his sub goal is to dissolve this church.
Right, I'm just adding that to your campaign goals.
Yeah, totally.
To disband the church.
Yeah. I want them to see the error of their ways. Okay, let's go. Should we? Do we want to do anything in this saloon? Do we want to look for any wanted posters? Do we have any time to do that?
I'm gonna fly up to the bar and order a drink and try to try to talk to the bartender.
Okay, so the bartender is this is sort of human guy, but with like a very large, overly waxed mustache. But he seems certainly more friendly than anyone else in this place, and he gets you a little like thimbleful of whiskey to drink, and says, don't get many Fey in here.
I sort of wink and say, "Now we are rare. Tell me, do you know where we could find someone named Cyrus? We think he's a preacher."
You mean Silas? Yeah, he's the town preacher, only one we got. I guess he's probably still in the chapel, although I wouldn't be surprised to see him come in here soon. Not many folks have been going to church lately.
What does he look like? What do I have to look out for?
Silas, he's an old fella. Not much to him. Kind of long white hair. Getting on a bit. You'll notice him by that golden horseshoe he wears around his legs. Fine symbol, that golden horseshoe. Everyone admires a man of the faith.
So he just sort of shrugs and is like, we'll see. But I toss him like a couple of spare coins, like maybe a silver. I'll say, thanks for your help.
He goes, no problem, anytime. What do you want with him, if you don't mind me asking?
We're with the ATC, and we're just we're just here to help, basically. We heard that you've got some sort of issue with a big, scary cow-eating monster, and we're gonna help you out. And I say it all really nonchalantly, like.
Okay, as you
It's
say the
nothing.
words "cow-eating monster," the piano
God.
music stops, and everyone kind of like looks up from what they're doing and just stares at you. And from her little vantage point up above, you see Alfia the elf kind of like lean over the railings and just kind of like glare at you. But the barkeep, he kind of just goes, you're here to deal with a monster? Are you gonna fix the noises too?
What noises?
Noises.
Strange, scraping noises. You only hear them late at night. People go looking for where they come from, there's nothing there. Why, even in my cellar I hear them sometimes, if I go down there late at night. Spooky thing it is. I tell you, we made a mistake when we came and built on this ground. The place is cursed. Cursed with all that weird Saurian voodoo. And then Alfia the elf from above says, "That's enough, friend. No need to go making a panic, causing trouble."
Do we know about the vision or thing that Krosek had? Did he tell us about it? I can't remember.
I told the old crew. I don't know if I've told White Wolf, Black Wolf. Sorry.
What was it?
Can conceivably anything that the group generally knows Black Wolf will have got caught up on
Yeah.
during the wagon trip.
Because if I do, I go, scraping, that sounds awfully familiar.
Have you had any problem with land collapsing recently?
The barkeep kind of like looks a little warily up at the ranger upstairs. He goes, no. Land's been pretty stable ever since we sealed off the mines. Good job too, if you ask me. Too much weird stuff down there.
Yeah. What kind of idiots would start throwing dynamite around? Hey, God.
Twig shoots Krosek like a look, just like, don't make this worse than it already is.
I'm like hastily tucking any dynamite in my backpack, just like down into the pockets.
I turn my attention back to the barkeep and I'm like, are you sure that's all it is? Like, can I'm gonna try and flirt a little bit
Of course you are.
and see if I can get him to like ignore Althea and actually talk to us, like give up the information.
Okay, yeah, sure. You want to do a what is it? Communication, seduction?
Yeah.
Did you roll? I heard the
I,
noise.
I didn't roll.
Oh. Oh no, that
That's
was Garrick saying keep quiet about the dynamite in his bags. Okay, yeah. So yeah, maybe Twig's usual flirty self, and just kind of go sort of like maybe starts just kind of like starting a quiet kind of conversation with a few like little flirty smiles and stuff like that. And sorry, what was it that Twig specifically asked?
If the scraping sound really was just oh shit, I forget what he said. I forget what he said. He said something about it like not being something, and he looked at Althea.
We were saying that he's thinks the the grounds that the town's built on is cursed and it's not natural. Do you mean that?
Oh yeah, because it seems like he's sort of dodging the question because of her. So I was trying to get him to like give any more information about that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
No, he looks quite serious and goes, no, I'm telling you, like, I mean, we thought things would get better once we sealed up the mines and none of that weird stuff from the Sorok ruins would come up. But even after we sealed up those mines, you see what happened to the animals and the wildlife? Like, all of the local wildlife just scarpered. Now all you ever find around here is like all these carrion eaters, like scorpids and hyenas and buzzards. There's nothing good living around here anymore. I think like they've all been driven off, like even nature's just kind of a bit out of whack around here.
Twig
Is there
just sort
any
of
kind of-
shudders and it's like, oh god, that sounds horrible. Yes, okay.
Is there any kind of like centralized point for all this stuff happening? Is there like an area that it all seems to be around? Has anyone seen this beast monster?
No, that's the weirdest thing. No one sees it. I mean, like I say, I heard it in my cellar. I've heard some other people. They heard something moving around in the street. Maybe moving. Like you'd think you'd hear something around the mines, but no, it's been fine. Like it's just all over. Like just randomly people hear strange things, but then they never find anything. Other than
Okay.
those cow bones, of course.
Sorry, I just left the channel by accident. Sorry, Wuffy. Tell you what, we'll go out at night time. Do you know where can you kind of tell us where the most recent kill was that they found? We'll go and snoop around there at night time. Maybe the creature will come back looking for more, or to finish what it started eating. If we find anything, we might be able to deal with it. But if you guys haven't seen it or know where it lives, there's not much else we can really do for now. Unless you've got any better ideas.
Well, if we have to go past the chapel, we might as well stop there as well.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
We should probably just ask the farmer straight up. I mean, like, there's no need to just immediately turn snooping. Like, do we know if he's going to be shifty?
Oh no,
Probably better
I
off
more
just
meant
asking
like
him.
sneak around and see if the beast comes back.
Oh, right, okay.
So we can ambush it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Hang on, Garrick's typed something because his mic's a bit off. Saying think the best bet is to go check things out at night time. Oh, was that what you were kind of going off?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is that what you guys want to do then? Oh, Rob.
Sounds good. Well, we need to go past the... We might as well go past the chapel first. And in there and,
Yeah. Let's check out the chapel first.
Okay, so you guys you leave the saloon and get a maybe you can feel people kind of like just glaring at your backs a bit. You head back out into town. Probably fairly getting later in the day now. You've probably been here a few hours with all this going on, so the sun's kind of like maybe getting close to setting. And you walk down the street. The place is fairly deserted, to be honest. Like, you see the occasional person kind of like just hanging around. And yeah, as the bartender told you, you sort of get more to the other edge of town. There is a rather small, sort of white painted chapel at the far end of the street, past which there are a few sort of more basic farm areas, like with a few cows and sheep and stuff, kind of like just milling around in pens. But the chapel's quite nice. It looks quite new. Probably hasn't been built for more than about a year by the look of it. Yeah, but its doors are closed. Doesn't seem to be anyone particularly around outside.
do any of you have any experience with the I can't think what the thing's called, the people with the hooves, golden
People with
hoof
the hooves.
people?
Oh, the
Twig just sort of
church.
shakes her head like,
Oh.
I can't remember.
Krosek is like, oh yes. Let me deal with him.
With what now?
Krosek storms ahead into the church.
Okay, fine. So Krosek kind of goes up and bursts open the door to the chapel, and inside it's it's much what you expect from a chapel. There's like several benches, and at the front there's the horseshoe symbol of the lone rider that these people worship, and sitting at the front is this old guy, this old human with like long white hair, and he kind of turns around with astonishment and goes, "Oh, save me!"
Excuse me.
Krosek kind of stops and he was like, and I say, well, I only wanted to argue about the gods. I wasn't gonna kill you.
Crow's sake, that's not why we're here.
I mean, if you want me to be, I can. Oh, I'll give him a hand up. Tell me about it. And I look at Twig, because I imagine as we're traveling, like I'm always just kind of meditating and doing stuff, and Twig just like bursts in like,
Almost definitely.
Krosek.
Twig just sort of shrugs and then smiles like innocently as if nothing's ever happened. And then flutters towards Silas and says, so we heard that there's some kind of beast around here. What's going on? What's up with that?
Beast, is that the latest one? Last week it was ghosts, week before that it was devils. I don't even know what to make of this town these days. Damn Tom foolishness is what it is, if you ask me.
Surely there must be some sort of truth to it though, because there are cows going missing.
Oh, there's truth to it. Sure enough. Don't get me wrong. There's, like you say, lots of animals going missing. Worse still, I think something's been digging around in the graveyard out back. All kinds of soil turned over, made a right mess of the place. But these folks around here, they always go jumping to weird conclusions, saying, "Oh, it's got to be some terrible thing. Oh no, it's the ghost of Grandma come to destroy us." All this nonsense.
Well, you did just collapse onto your knees when we came into the door, but that
because
aside,
you gave me a fright. That's all.
excuse me, looking quite stern. Like, you didn't just say that we looked weird, did you?
I didn't say you look weird at all. I said that you burst into my chapel just when I'm like having a little quiet think. Can an old man get a little bit of peace, and then without people bursting in and yelling stuff? Like
Anyway.
I say, I've got all these townsfolk here who are like jumping at God knows what they're gonna do. Probably gonna go grab their pitchforks any minute because they've got the latest idea about whatever this weirdness is. I don't need it. I'm just trying to, live out my days nice and peaceful.
But you haven't seen anything like anything except for the upturned graves.
No, I haven't seen anything, and I'll admit it's weird, but I tell you this, there's always a rational explanation. People here wouldn't believe that.
Do you know anything about the burned out train?
Train? No, we ain't seen any trains for days.
On the way here, we came across a burnt out train. And we figured you might have any information about that as well, potentially.
Nah, I can't
But I
help,
guess not.
Can't help you there, friend.
Can I try and press him for information?
Yeah, sure. What do you want to ask him about?
Just like, are you sure you don't know anything about what's going on? Because I get the feeling that he's just trying to be like, no, everything's fine. They're just being silly. But maybe he actually does know a bit more than he's letting on.
I mean, I'm not quite sure. What do you want to ask him, or what are you trying to?
I guess I'm trying to intimidate him into giving me more information.
Okay. I mean, you're very welcome to try and intimidate him. Or persuade, depending on what's more appropriate for you.
I'd probably persuade, actually.
Yeah.
Is that communication?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh god. Nope.
No, you're not very persuasive, but he seems kind of like just like, yeah, fairly nonplussed and a bit grumpy at having been disturbed.
Doesn't seem like this guy's going to be much help. Oh, actually, okay. I'm gonna turn around and start walking away, and then I'm gonna say, "Well, it's a shame. Everyone told us you could be so useful, but seems like you don't really want to help us." Shame they were saying such nice things about you. Oh yeah, they were telling us, if you want to find out what's really been going on, you go and speak to old Father Silas over there. But I don't know. Maybe they were wrong about you. Well, it's a shame you can't help us. Evil ghost monkeys.
Are there any indigenous creatures it might be at all?
Not a lot of the local wildlife left. A lot of it's been scared off, but certainly there's all kinds of weird life on Umber. We seem to have a lot of carrion eaters and kind of creatures like that have been seen around a lot of parts. Lots of scorpids and spiders and that sort of thing. Certain, but nothing that I'd see make off with a whole cow. But I mean, you want to know? I'd say you maybe just go look at the marks that they've left. Like those bones, they were covered in claw marks and teeth marks and all kinds of stuff. That's your best bet.
All right then. Well, thanks.
That sounds like more like a swarm than anything else to me, at least. Or a lot of little like predators or monsters. Just thinking out loud.
We could also check the graveyard. If there was overturned graves or something.
Yeah, we should probably go and check out the what was it, a
Graveyard?
farmstead?
Oh yeah, the farm just down the road.
Okay, well, you can go out the chapel and then out back from the chapel there's the graveyard, and then kind of like a little bit further along from that there's like I say, this little ranch with a few cows and sheep and things kind of in pens.
Right. Can we see anything like obviously out of place around the? Actually, I'm gonna do. Can I do a perception check to see if there's anything?
Yeah,
like...
sure.
I'm looking particularly for like claw marks, leftover scales, anything like that.
Where are you looking?
Sort of around where the cows would be kept.
Okay, so you're like going on to that where the ranch and stuff is.
Oh, we're not actually there yet.
Well, I was just saying like you go out the chapel and that's the stuff you can see. I wasn't sure where you were
Oh.
going looking around.
Well, we should head over to there then, unless anyone else has any like.
No, that's fine. You can make a perception searching for looking around the cattle ranch.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you sort of go flying around the edges of where the cattle penned up, and kind of like Silas said, like some of the wooden fence posts have like kind of like quite small indentations that have been kind of scraped into them at like low ground level, like nothing more than about a couple of inches long, and it just sort of looks reminiscent, maybe of claw or teeth marks that have kind of like dug little grooves in the wood, and kind of around where that is, there's a lot of upturned soil.
Hmm. And there's nothing like that's been left behind, like tufts of fur or.
Well, since you mention it, maybe, yeah, you do find a few little scraps of kind of orangey fur, kind of like that's poking out of a sort of molehill-like area of soil that's kind of been turned up.
Okay. I wave everyone over to what I found. I'm like, look, maybe it's something around here. Maybe it's coming out of this hill. I mean, who knows?
Oh, it's
But
fucking puckwudgies again.
I. No.
Could we dig it up? You said it like comes from the ground. Or is that what it looked like? A little mole?
Yeah, it was like stuck out of the ground. So, should we try digging up this area?
Yeah, I was just thinking that if I have any spells that could help, but I don't think I have.
And digging spell.
Yes.
Dexys has sort of like a tri-bladed claw sort of attachment hand. So potentially he could just like churn up the earth fairly quickly, but he's also likely to destroy anything like delicate if he does. Depends on if we're trying to sift through or just like dig down, see if there's anything really big.
Hmm.
Unless people feel like digging it out by hand.
I think if we're in a graveyard and the graves have been dug up, I think it's more like stuff has been taken.
We're not at the graveyard.
We're around.
Oh, we at the ranch. Oh shit.
Sorry, you're at the ranch
Sorry,
that's admittedly adjacent to the graveyard, so
My
maybe
brain is at
Crosix
the
wandering around the
graveyard.
graveyard a bit lost.
Where is
While we're at the
everyone?
ranch.
I mean, maybe we could have a look for more of this orange fur in the graveyard
Yeah.
How
and see if
quickly
it corresponds with more like hills. Well,
Yeah,
more-
I'll have a look in the graveyard, seeing as I'm wandering around there.
how
Apparently.
quickly can Dexys dig it up? Do we know?
Sorry, what?
Is it? How long do we think it'll take Dexys to dig down?
I don't know. Twig, how good's Dexys at digging?
I mean, it's probably a little bit faster than like your average digger, but like it's also gonna be an eruption of like dirt. So you could probably, maybe do a foot every like quarter of an hour or so. Like a square foot or so.
Why don't we set Dexys to dig mode? And then we'll explore some other places.
Yeah, I'll start Dexys digging then.
Yeah.
And we
where are
go
you
check
going
out
to
the-
set him up digging? In the ranch?
Around where we found that, like around that little molehill.
Okay, sure. So you set Dexys on his little digging program, and he starts digging with like. Does he have like an attachment for one of his robot arms that digs?
It's just his normal hand, but like it's kind of like a tri-pronged claw, so
Okay, fair enough.
it's fairly useful for digging purposes.
Okay, cool. So Dexys starts using that three-pronged thing to start digging up the soil and just sort of going beep boop dig and just digging. Starts making a nice little pile of soil as he starts chucking it up everywhere. Are
make
you
a
going to stay
searching
with him,
check.
or you? Oh, you want to make a search check of the graveyard?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Yeah, I'll go check out the graveyard too.
Okay, you can make a search as well if you like. Then, Garrick.
I got a 13 and I stunted.
You did stunt. You can use an exploration or investigation stunt if you want.
Let me just check. I think I misplaced the cheat sheet again.
Well, in terms of what you find, you certainly see, as Silas described, that I mean, there's not too many graves in this graveyard. We're talking like it's a small field with maybe like 6 or 7 grave markers in it, kind of in fairly bare, barren soil. But you see what he means, that like whilst most of the soil like around this field it's kind of like dry, cracked, brown earth. The bits around the graves, or at least like 2 or 3 of the graves, looks quite soft and brown and fresh, like it had just been like dug up and then like put back down, if that makes sense. Like the topsoil's all been like disturbed, and like fresher soil from underneath has kind of been brought up to the surface. And Theo has been looking around and also finds, basically, maybe he investigates one of those graves more closely, and while he's kind of like rooting around in this fresh soil with his hands, Theo suddenly pulls out this this bone, and slightly awkwardly suddenly finds himself holding a human bone that has visible kind of dents in it. Like almost like teeth marks, but sort of what am I trying to say? They're kind of like, you know how sometimes things like get weathered away, like maybe there's a mark on something, but over time like it kind of gets eroded and looks a lot more blurry. These are like kind of like blurry, eroded teeth marks along this bone that Theo's just sort of accidentally found when rooting around the topsoil.
Ooh.
How
Well,
do
I show it to everyone. Look what I found.
Okay, so just to be clear, Theo is just sort of standing in a graveyard waving this bone around. People, the others come up to look at it.
Surprise, surprise, we found a bone in the graveyard.
Oh my god. How big is the bite mark? Like, is it from human, like roughly human sized, or like face? Hmm.
Green fur, orange fur, dog kind of bite marks. I think it's hyenas.
It's got to be something sort of canine-ish.
Yeah, I reckon there's going to be loads of little ones, and then we're going to find a big fucking hyena monster thing that's going to try.
I just had a thought. You know, like potentially gnolls if they were crazed.
Yes, actually, good point.
Yeah, maybe. Let's we're at the farm right in the graveyard. Let's just stay around here, see if they come back. Are there still animals and stuff in the fields?
Should we dig up the...
Is there anywhere we can kind of hide, or?
Did Dexis turn anything up, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Oh my god.
No!
Dexus.
I'll run over there.
Is he just still digging with his other hand? Oh.
For a second, I was like, I fly down to Dexis and I'm like, why didn't you make any noises when you fell through? Oh, not that he can reply because he can talk.
He just
But-
sort of keeps on digging there.
Dexter, stop digging. Can I perform another search in this cave, this underground cave
Yeah,
hole thing?
sure you can. Just give me 1 second. Oh, well, make your roll.
It's also looking down. How big is this hole?
It's sort of like it's several feet down. Like a person could sort of climb down there and maybe make just like a short drop if you're asking that kind of thing.
And is it like? Does it look like a cave, or does it look like it's going to be a tunnel? Like, does it open out, or can it
Well,
look clear?
You can't see very much because you can only, I mean, looking down, you can only sort of see like the bits of what light is highlighted for you.
I'd like to light my torch and lower it down to Twig.
Okay.
Can I just climb straight down?
Yeah,
Well,
let Canny go first.
You lower down your torch, and as hopefully you guys can now see that you're in a map, but you might have to. What you need to do is you'll have to scroll to the right and then scroll down to the bottom right corner. And as the torch gets lowered down, Twig completes her search of the area, and she finds a couple of skeletons. It's kind of like dressed in some fairly nice clothes, looking like the sort of thing that you might bury somebody in. But they're kind of like their remains are sort of strewn about the place, and they look kind of disordered. And I hate to say it, but we've taken a fair while this evening, and we're probably getting to the end of our time.
Oh no, it just got good.
Like, I don't think we really have time to progress much further. So I'm sort of inclined to leave things here on a bit of a cliffhanger with just Twig and Dexis kind of down a hole.
Oh.
Twig and Dex's marvelous adventure.
Yeah, Krosek calmly fills the hole back up and gestures for everyone else to walk away. No, I'm not going to do that.
But yeah, no, just gonna leave it there on a really weird note.
Dun dun dun.
Find out next week.
Well,
In
at
the
least we
hole.
don't have to wait too long.
Yeah,
That's true. You don't have to wait too long. So
It's
yeah,
less than a week.
we will pick up again on Monday.
That was good fun.
Hopefully.
It's nice to get the exploration underway. Already sidetrack ourselves. Good.
Sorry if that was a little bit slow. I was winging it a little bit because I wasn't quite expecting you guys to go in this direction, so I was having to make things a little up on the fly, and maybe therefore it was slowing things down because I wasn't able to lay it out as well as I normally would. But hey, we got here.
It was fine.
Yep.
At least you got out of town, you know, like as in got out of Prosperity Junction, because like, you know, been doing a lot around there before we even left.
At least we got out of the house.
Exactly. It's been a nice walk.
We remembered to wake up. We got on the caravan. We didn't do anything for 3 weeks. And now we're here.
But yeah, I'm just gonna just have to leave it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks for the night. I'm gonna head off.
Bye.
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 See ya.
I think I'm gonna head off as well.
Bye.
Alright, see you next time.